Let me cut straight to the chase. The MSI Claw 8 AI Plus is an incredible device. So incredible, in fact, that it's replaced all of my other gaming devices and has become the primary way I've been playing games over the past month and a half, to the chagrin of my PlayStation 5, which gives me the side eye each time I pick up the Claw instead of the DualSense. Hey! Oh, shit. That's because the Claw 8 AI Plus, terrible name aside, is an absolute powerhouse, and just like I said in my original impressions video, is almost everything I've ever dreamt about in a handheld gaming device. I say almost because there is one aspect that keeps it from being perfect. But before I get to that, let me cover the basics and all that makes MSI's handheld so impressive. Hey, my name's Shaz and welcome to Pixel Swish, a place for video games, movies, and basketball. All of my gaming content lives right here on YouTube, so if you like videos like this, be sure to subscribe. Film and NBA content are posted on 2 separate TikTok accounts, and all my videos are shared as articles on my website, pixel-swish.com. You can find all the links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching. Now let's get back to the review. If you couldn't tell, the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus is a big and beefy device. At almost 800 grams, this big boy is a little more than 150 grams heavier than the Steam Deck OLED and 260 grams heavier than the Switch 2. This weight is used in part to house an impressive 8-inch display, a powerful Intel chipset, both of which I'll touch on in just a bit, and a set of full-sized buttons and Hall effect thumbsticks and triggers. Though this weight is evenly distributed across the device, you can certainly feel it in your hands. It's been one of the ongoing issues I've had with the device actually, finding a comfortable way to play for long sessions without having hand fatigue. I could simply rest it on my lap, but that would make for some terrible ergonomics, which would no doubt cause my aging neck to have a creak in it for a month. Playing it on a desk feels great, but I don't want to play my handheld device on a desk. And using armrests while sitting to prop my elbows up helps with arm fatigue, but not hand fatigue. The best solution for both that I've found, and many handheld users have discussed this on Reddit threads, is to place a couple of pillows on my lap and rest the Claw 8 on top of them. This makes for a much more ergonomic setup while nullifying both hand and arm fatigue. While in the hands, the Claw 8 feels like a damn unit. There's a rigidity and firmness to its build quality that makes for an impressive feeling in the hands each time you pick it up. This feeling didn't go away from me even after a month of use. It's a feeling that you're holding something substantial, something powerful. In terms of design, MSI has done a great job in making the Claw 8 as sleek and efficient as possible while having decent ergonomics. The curved edges paired with the ridges on the back do a good job of making for a fairly comfortable grip. Its overall footprint is actually a few millimeters smaller than the Steam Deck, even though it houses a screen that's nearly an inch larger. Still, if you're someone with hands on the smaller end, this handheld may prove a tad unwieldy. So take that into consideration because a small device, the Claw 8 is most certainly not. Speaking of screens, the Claw 8 features an 8-inch 1200p VRR LCD with a 16:10 aspect ratio. Although it's not OLED, the color reproduction and sharpness of this display are solid, and the sheer size of it makes for an impressively immersive experience. Even though 8 inches doesn't sound all that much bigger than 7 inches, which is the size of other handhelds like the Logitech G Cloud and the upcoming ROG Xbox Ally, the experience is vastly more immersive in reality. Crazy how much difference an inch makes. There's a dirty joke in there somewhere. That VRR screen also does wonders to make for a buttery smooth gaming experience. Gone are any noticeable stutters when you're playing games at unlocked frame rates and have dips from 60 FPS to, say, 48 FPS. It all looks and feels consistently responsive. As far as the buttons, sticks, and triggers go, everything is full-sized and feels properly premium. The face buttons are in the standard ABXY layout and feel very much like the ones you'd find on the Xbox controller. As mentioned, both the triggers and sticks are Hall effect, which are precise and should provide some good durability in the long run. One thing I do like is how the shoulder buttons aren't clicky like the Xbox controller. I'm someone who's sensitive to sharp sounds and as such prefer all of my buttons to be on the quieter end, which MSI has thankfully provided all around with the Claw, including the D-pad. On that note, the D-pad here is decent. Initially I was quite happy with the D-pad, but after recently having gone back to playing the PS Vita, I realized what an amazing D-pad actually feels like. An unfair comparison for sure, and compared to other modern handhelds and controllers, the one on the Claw is on the better end of things. All in all, the Claw 8 AI Plus looks and feels like a premium device. As it should, considering its cost rivals that of a month's rent for a small studio apartment. It's a substantial piece of tech that leaves an impression. I'm unsure how I feel about the brownish gray sand-like colorway, but it's a unique look in that it gives it a more industrial, almost brutalist kind of a feel. If you're anything like me, this is the section you're most interested in. As such, I won't faff about too much and get right into it. The Claw 8 is an absolute beast when it comes to performance. The 258V paired with the 140V is a monster duo that I've yet to see the full potential of. If you've watched or read my piece on PC handhelds, you'll know that my dream handheld was a device that could play modern AAA titles at 40 plus FPS, while at native resolution and medium-ish settings, all the while achieving at least 3 hours of battery life. Well, I'm happy to report that this dream has, for the most part, become a reality thanks to the Claw 8. Over the past month and a half, I've played games like Helldivers 2, Halo Infinite, Space Marine Mastercrafted Edition, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Doom the Dark Ages, and have been frankly blown away by how this handheld has performed. For every title save for Doom the Dark Ages, I was able to play at 17 watts while cranking the resolution to the native 1200p, with settings being a mix of medium, low, and even high, and achieve 40 plus FPS in the process. Some games like Helldivers 2 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 needed a little tinkering and the use of FSR, but I was eventually able to get there. Not to mention, if your base FPS is at least 30 to 35, using a third-party app like lossless scaling can double that frame rate instantaneously without any noticeable hit to image quality, making my need to bump up to higher wattages practically unnecessary. When it comes to a game like Doom the Dark Ages, which has baked-in ray tracing features, it's a little tougher to run smoothly at 17 watts, especially at 1200p. You could turn down all the settings to low and the resolution to 900p while setting XeSS to ultra performance to achieve playable frame rates, but in my testing, it was simply more worth it to crank the TDP to its full 30 watts. At 30 watts, you can expect a little under 2 hours of battery life, which is impressive considering how much power you're able to get while running the handheld at full tilt. For me, however, battery life is very important. As such, I'd much rather tinker with settings and upscaling tools to ensure I can play my games at decent settings while at 17 to 20 watts, which paired with the 80 watt-hour battery gives me anywhere from 3 to 4 hours of battery life, more than enough to run me through a couple of play sessions. Intel's Lunar Lake 140V has proved to be a more than capable chipset, one that reportedly rivals AMD's Z2 Extreme. With how surprisingly competent Intel has been, at least thus far, with driver updates and support, I wouldn't be surprised if this chip ages better than AMD's in the long run. That isn't to say there aren't a couple of drawbacks, however. For one, some games like Halo Infinite don't directly support Intel chips. As such, when launching the game, I'm met with an error pop-up each time. Though I can still play the game and everything runs fairly well, I have had the game crash on me on more than one occasion. This is more on the developer side, but it is something to keep note of if you play games that don't support Intel hardware. Furthermore, though I much prefer Intel's XeSS over AMD's FSR, many games have yet to support the upscaling technology, especially its newer versions. Support is increasing rapidly, but it's also worth noting if you're planning to play some more demanding games that will require upscaling to achieve better performance. Well, it's time. The one big problem that keeps MSI's impressive handheld from being perfect. For those who have read or watched my impressions piece, you'll know where this is going. Software. To put it bluntly, MSI's MSI Center M sucks. To the point where I would much rather deal with Windows and its frustrating touch UI than have to deal with MSI's overlay. Which is saying a lot considering how much I abhor Windows. MSI's software experience is slow, sluggish, buggy, and outright doesn't even work half the time. Over the past month and a half, MSI has rolled out a couple of updates for the handheld, and yet the experience is practically unchanged. And before some of you Claw owners start coming at me in the comments saying how I need to set MSI Center to high priority in the task manager, I have, and the experience is still garbage. Now, I should clarify that when I say MSI Center, I'm mainly talking about the overlay that should appear when you press one of the function buttons. MSI Center, the app, though still frequently sluggish and at times doesn't launch, is at least a little more reliable, though far from what I would consider good. For a device that costs 1,300 Canadian dollars, I shouldn't have to deal with such terrible software. And it's baffling that nearly 6 months in, a company like MSI still hasn't figured out a way to fix it. Shifting gears from MSI to Microsoft, on the Windows end, things are serviceable at best and annoying at worst. Windows was not made as a touch interface, and boy does it show. Touch inputs at times don't register. When I want to bring up the dashboard while in a game to change the brightness, because as mentioned, I don't want to gamble with MSI's overlay, it won't work the way I would intend it to. Dealing with constant driver updates and random notifications is frustrating, and game performance will sometimes take a hit due to Windows randomly allocating resources to tasks in the background. That being said, nothing has been so bad that I want to bang my head against a wall the way MSI software has. And there is some good to Windows. For one, it allows me to have access to all of my game libraries across Steam, Epic, and Xbox, which means I have access to Game Pass, a service I love and use very often and wouldn't be able to have access to on something like the Steam Deck. And some functions on Windows, like Hibernate, have been surprisingly consistent and reliable, allowing me to jump back into a game almost instantaneously without Windows going on the fritz. It's nowhere near as quick as something like the Switch or a Steam Deck, but considering how used to I am to Windows's fickleness, I'm quite pleased at how easy it's been to jump in and out of games, something I would consider essential for a handheld. A diabolically lackluster software experience from MSI aside, the Claw 8 AI Plus is a tremendous handheld that offers more than enough power to handle even the most demanding of AAA titles. Its hefty and premium design offers a feeling that you're holding something of substance. This design aesthetic goes beyond just the body, as everything from the Hall effect sticks and triggers, the face buttons and D-pad, and the beautifully immersive 8-inch 1200p screen are all of high quality and result in a thoroughly enjoyable experience that makes the eye-watering price tag somewhat digestible. Though Windows is still not a great fit for a handheld device, once set up to your liking, it, for the most part, stays out of your way. MSI has made this gamer's dream come true. Now let's hope they can get their act together and actually do something about this damn software. Thanks again so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you have the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus and what are your thoughts on it. Once again, if you like this video and want to see more, be sure to give me a like and subscribe. Peace.